sleep.
Never sleep again. Okay, so first of all, I am blocking out the eyebrows. So if you're going to be putting liquid latex over them, make sure you do this. So you could either use Vaseline or the Pritt Stick way. So what I'm doing, I'm brushing the hairs the other way, putting Pritt Stick on, and then combing them flat to the head. And that will just ensure that they are protected from latex, otherwise they will stick. I'm also putting on a bold cap as well, just to add to the effect and do it all the way around the head. So that is obviously optional. I will link a more in-depth video on how to do this down below. So I'm just gluing the bold cap onto the head, just around the sides, and you just saw there, I just put a little bit of Vaseline over the sideburns, just so the latex didn't stick there. So firstly, I'm doing a few layers of liquid latex all the way around the face just to add a nice base, and then I start to build up with some tissue just on random areas. It's not really, a step by step. You just go with it, to be honest. I just wanted to create a few layers beforehand just because we did want to reuse this, so I wanted to make sure it was thick. And you can see now I'm also building up right on top of the eyebrow because I really want that bit to be quite prominent, because in the actual Freddy Krueger films, he has quite a low frown, so I just try to mimic that basically just by layering up little bits of tissue and latex. So just keep repeating that step all over the face just until you get your desired thickness. Just keep saturating the tissue in latex. Now I start to go around the ear, so I basically just pick pieces of tissue and place it over the ear to overlap to the back of the head. So that is basically looking like the ear is collapsing, so it's been burnt off basically. You can see here I just layered that up a few times just so it's quite thick. So a couple ways to create the ridges on the face. I am using cotton wool and rolling them up, and I'm just manipulating them with latex and sort of twisting them around. You can see here I'm just sort of using my finger to really coat the latex and make the shape that I want. I didn't want the sort of muscle shapes, whatever you want to call it, to be too uniform. I know a lot of makeup looks look a little bit too uniform for my liking, so I kind of just went with it and, done my own sort of thing and made them sort of taper off to the back of the head. So you can see here I'm just using my brush to really manipulate the shape and also scrunching them as well. Just kind of play around with it. And just see what works for you, and use your hands, they really do help as well, and just keep on coating it with latex so it's really covered. So yeah, I just kind of wanted it to be a little bit sparse, like I didn't want it to be uniform like I said. And you can see here all the little ridges, so just do as many as you want. I didn't want it to be too kind of messy. So once you've done that, I just coated a little bit of foundation all over it just whilst the other side dried. I went with a nice skin tone colour. I then went in with some red face paint, just really roughly in the areas where there was sort of any gaps. You don't have to be neat with this. As I was saying earlier, I really didn't want it to be too uniform. I didn't want it to be neat. Just kind of dab it around, just so it doesn't look like there's too much of a contrast between the skin colour and the red colour as well. So I also mixed in a little bit of black face paint just to make it look a little bit more like a purpley red, and then went in with some more black in those areas and around the edges just to add some depth and shadowing, just to make it look a little bit more 3D. And I also made sure I went in the eye area to really deepen that up so it looked a little bit more part of the mask basically. So just keep going around those edges just to really add some depth. And it is quite hard to explain, but you kind of get what I'm doing. I'm just really getting into those areas. And I felt like the colour looked a little bit too matte, so I went in with some Vaseline to add a little bit of shine, just because I thought it's going to make it look a little bit more realistic, or as realistic as it can be. And then I also went in with a little bit of blood to add some more shine and look a little bit more gory as well. So that is it basically. It is quite hard to explain, but hopefully you get sort of the techniques that I was doing and it helped you out. It is, just making it your own and adapting it and kind of just playing around with it really. Hopefully it helped, so you can see a little bit closer up now. Thanks so much for watching and happy Halloween. Bye guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.